Hey there, yogis. Welcome to Tina's Yoga Room. Today we'll get into a 45-minute class that is definitely going to strengthen your core. A couple different variations of plank pose, and we'll get into some spinal extension. I must apologize if I sound a little stuffy or froggy. It's like peak fall pollen season here, so no matter the antihistamines I take, I'm just dripping. So I apologize in advance if I sound a little different. We're gonna open class standing, so you can come to the top of the mat. Let's root the feet all the way down in the mat. You can stand in your mountain pose with the palms spun forward. Allow a little bit of external rotation at the shoulders. If you prefer hands at heart center and Namaste, feel free to take that as well. And start to rock back and forth in the feet. So much so that the heels will lift up and then the toes will lift up. And then also take it side to side, so peel the arches away from the mat. And then try to pick up the pinky toe and the side of the foot. So you're just feeling all these different nooks and crannies of the feet. And then I want you to pause right at center so you feel every bit of your feet grounded down. Then take one hand to your low belly, one hand to your low back. And I want you to take your navel, draw in towards the spine, and feel the tailbone drop down so you've got your core engaged. That's going to protect your low back. Whenever we're in poses throughout class, I want you to think about drawing navel in so the tailbone drops. And then you can reset the arms. So you might feel the legs and the hips are doing a little bit more work here. Shrug the shoulders into the ears, make two fists, take a big breath in. And on your exhale, roll the shoulders down the back and let the palms spin open. Take another full breath in without moving. And then sigh that air out. Then we'll take hands at heart center and heel toe the toe mounds into touch so we've got a nice equal stand. Let's open up the shoulders, let the arms drop back down, reach them back up and overhead with your inhale. Exhale, the hands come back to heart center. Again, open up on the inhale and exhale. Now let's reach just the right arm up overhead. Press the palm to the ceiling and the left hand circles the wrist. Reach it up and then take a dive to the left. Press the hips towards the right and feel all that opening for your side. As you come back to center, let's wrap this right arm around your waistband and try to find your left hip. Now left arm will open behind you. So keep the hand at the hip pressing forward so the hips stay in alignment, and you can add a chair pose by bending into the knees. The palm is facing the ceiling to once again get that external rotation at the shoulder. Inhale the left arm up. And now take the side lean in the opposite direction. The hand that's at your hip, press it in a downward angle so that you get more space along the side of the hip and side body. Use the inhale to come back to center, both arms up overhead, and then return to standing on your exhale. Let's take a sun A, breath in to reach the arms up. And dive forward on your exhale. Bend the knees enough so that your hands are completely grounded on the mat. Drop your chin, take a couple breaths. Then step back to find your first high plank pose. Set this one up by making some space between each of your fingers. The heels are stacked over the balls of the feet. Look straight down. And then glide forward to the tippy toes. Bend elbows halfway so you've got your low plank. Untuck each of your toes. Press the arms straight, thighs are lifted, active upward facing dog. And then the hips go back, downward facing dog. A half step in so that you can find a comfortable space for the feet. And then bend deeply into both knees and press through the arms so that your belly is approaching the thighs. You're really closing at the center. With your next exhale, lower the left heel down the mat. Inhale, pick that heel back up. And exhale, right heel drops. Inhale. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale, right. Inhale, lift, pause, and look forward. Walk the feet to touch, top of the mat. Release your head to fold. Rise on your inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Now it's the left arm that reaches up, palm to the ceiling. Right hand circles, lift up, and dive right. Allow the hips to kick towards the left. Your gaze can float under left arm. Use the inhale to come back to center. The left hand is now wrapping around the waist to find the hip, and the right arm opens back, palm facing up. So the hand at the hip, bring the hip forward, and then you can bend the knees to add your chair pose. So just remember the toes are pretty light here, weight is sinking back in the heels. Right arm up now. And add the side lean. Use the hand at the hip to guide down so you're lengthening the side. Then an inhale, everything back to center, reach up, and exhale, straighten and hands to heart. Sun A again, sweep the arms up, breath in, and dive forward, breath out. Step backwards, plank pose, inhale. Exhale, glide forward, bend your elbows, chaturanga. Untuck the toes, heart forward, up dog. Hips high, exhale, downward facing dog. You can take a few more movements in this dog if you like. You can add a shake or a nod of the head. But eventually you're settling into stillness. Making space across the shoulder blades. Heels are heavy. Inhale, lift heels. Exhale, bend knees, look forward. Breath in takes you to the top of the mat with a step, and the breath out to fold. Rise up again, sweep Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale, connect hands at heart center. Let's separate the feet about hips width distance. Hands at the hips, lift your heart, inhale. As you bend the knees, forward fold, and rest the hands in front of each of your feet. Right hand will come to the small of your back, and you'll twist to the right. Bend deeper into your left knee so that you can straighten through left one. Right arm can float towards the ceiling if you like that on your shoulder. And you can pick up the instep of right foot to access some IT band on right side. Then look down, land everything, and directly to the other side, left hand small of back. Take your twist, bend deeply into just that right knee. Float the arm. Flow instep of left foot. And then look down, land everything. And take your step back, high plank. Exhale forward and lower chaturanga. Upward dog, downward facing dog. Right leg will float into the air, three-legged dog. Stack the hip, the knee can bend. The right heel gets really heavy as you try to lift the right knee as high as you can get it. Then straighten that leg, look forward, and take your step, right foot inside your right thumb. Use your inhale to wiggle the back toes back and sweep the arms up, high crescent lunge. Bring the palms to touch, and you'll take a steeple mudra, so all the fingers interlace but the first fingers, and then bend into the elbows and squeeze the elbows towards the head. You're going to bend into your left knee so that it hovers off of the mat, nice stretch for the quad and the hip. As you inhale, both legs will straighten as well as the arms, point the fingers up. Exhale, bend the knees, bend the elbows. Inhale, everything lengthens. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, pause. Keep your straight legs, the fingers dial up, and now take it into a back bend. Keep lifting your heart higher. Gaze can shift higher as well. Left hip continues pressing forward. And come back to center, bend the knees, and then reach that steeple grip forward. So you've got a nice diagonal line, super strong shoulders. Then release the hands down to the mat. The right foot will step back, plank and pause. Let the heels drop to the right for your side plank, and you can always lower the right knee down if you want support. Left arm will lift up, and then long and across the body. Hips are pressing to the ceiling. Now, right knee drops for everybody. Float that left leg. Then look down. Left hand drops down as the left leg sweeps all the way off the side of the left mat to land. And then walk your hands up to your hips. So just checking in that the left foot is in line with that right knee, and try to lower that left hip so it's in alignment. Arms sweep up on the inhale. Then allow the left hand to drop inside the leg. Reach tall and side lean to the left. Left hip likes to tuck back, keep pressing it forward. Inhale, left arm comes back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Half camel pose, Ardha Ustrasana. Press the hips forward, lift your heart, inhale, and the exhale takes you back. Now I suggest keeping the neck in alignment with your spine or even tucking the chin, not allowing the head to fling back. Inhale takes you back up and the arms go wide. Now let's drop the right hand off the side of the mat and reach the left arm long for your opposite side body stretch. Look towards the top of the mat, left followed by right, walk the hands forward. Here's the transition. Left foot picks up, drop it at the back of your mat, and then lift right knee away from the mat, hug it in, and once again, kick right leg into the air, three-legged dog. I like to hop this left foot a little further forward, and then on your exhale, come glide forward, try to tap right knee towards right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale, now take it over to the left. Three-legged on the inhale. Exhale, right. Inhale. And exhale, left. Inhale, three-legged dog. And then step right foot forward. Inhale, arms up overhead. But now we'll go right into your warrior two. Simple Virabhadrasana B here. You could once again take a hand to the belly and the low back, and reminding yourself to let the tailbone drop straight down. And now we're going to take this to the back of the mat. Hands to hips, straighten right leg. Right toes come in, left toes go back, and find your warrior two. You can once again take one hand to the belly and the low back to adjust your tailbone. And then hands to hips, straighten that front leg, and the left toes come in. Now we're going to stay for a forward fold. Lift the heart, breath in, and your exhale, lean out. Hands can come all the way down to the mat. Press the mat away from you, get nice and long in the spine, and then you can walk into your fold. And walk the hands under your shoulders, find straight arms. Hands come up to your hips and all the way up to standing. Right toes will face forward, and you can heel toe this back foot in slightly. Bring hands to heart center and notice where the hands are facing. So you might be facing quite forward on your mat. And for triangle pose, you want to be facing all the way off the side of the mat. So really try to get your torso parallel to that side of the mat. Then let your arms go wide. Glide the right arm out and then let it drop inside the leg as the right arm lifts up. Utthita Trikonasana. Use your inhale to rise up, and the exhale, a big step forward. Connect at the top of the mat in your Namaste. Soften through the knees, find a little chair pose, and then pick up right foot, rest the ankle on that thigh. Allowing the right knee to drop open, getting into your right outer hip. Think of this as chair pose, and you're sitting back a little deeper. One day the arms may touch that right leg. We're going to transition to warrior three, so come up almost all the way, extend right leg out, and then sweep it behind you. The arms can now reach out by your sides. Let's return to standing and connect hands and feet. Give a quick pedal. Now the top of your left foot drops behind you, so the toenails on the mat, left hand to hip, reminding that hip to face forward, right arm sweeps up. Press this arm as far back as you can get it, and then float this back leg. Working on dancer pose, bend into the knee, try to take inside or outer ankle, and then bring the knees to touch. Now keep reaching this right thumb back, lift your heart, and try to press your left foot higher. So spinal extension, not taking it forward into a fold, we're working the spinal extension. Release hands to hips, kick the left leg out, and then connect Namaste. Washing it away with a Vinyasa, take it up, inhale, and dive forward, exhale. Step plank pose. And then low plank to upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Continue to find your breath in these downward facing dogs. Keep the eye gaze still at one point. And now let's walk the hands backwards towards the feet. Angle the toes towards the sides of the mat, and we will sink the hips down for your squat. If you happen to have blocks or a pillow, you can always sit on that to make it more comfortable. Hands approach heart center. Arms can gently press the knees apart. And you're trying to sit as tall as you can. So feel that core and that back strength to keep you sitting upright. Further to go, drop your right hand down, left hand to your knee, and you add a twist. Now this can go as deep as a full bind. Getting into the half bind, you reach the left arm up and wrap it at your low back. Pause here, allowing the left shoulder to press back and not to roll forward. Now if you have long arms, sometimes that's all it takes to bind, is you can crawl the right hand off the side of the mat. It's in front of that shin, and then it could wrap around. So you've got your left shoulder externally rotating and the right shoulder internally rotating. And then let go of what you have. Hands come down, let the hips press up, and the feet come back to a neutral position. Give a shake of the knees and the feet. Head can release. And then walk out to your high plank pose. Once you have your high plank pose, lower your knees down and then come all the way down to your forearms. So keep this parallel alignment, so your arms should look like railroad tracks. Now, step one foot all the way back, followed by the other, and you've got your forearm plank, everyone's favorite pose. Taking it one step further, heels drop to the right knee can lower down again, left arm floats up, and then left arm across. Forearm side plank, keep breathing. Now let's lower that arm back down. Forearm plank, lift the hips as you walk the toes in for your dolphin pose. Keep pressing those arms down, strong shoulders, one more breath. Knees to the mat, child's pose. It might feel really nice to release the arms around back. And arms out in front of you. Let's come forward, tabletop, tuck the toes, hips press, downward facing dog. Settle into this dog. And then float left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Stack that hip so the knee is bending, heavy with the left heel, lifting and light with the left knee. Press the arms. Straighten the leg, look forward, and take a big step on your exhale. Wiggle the back toes back so that you have a very long distance between the feet. And inhale, come up, high lunge. Taking the arm variation, you bring the hands to touch. Take the awkward steeple mudra, so the opposite thumb on top. Bend into the elbows and squeeze them against your head. Drop the back knee to a hover on your exhale. Inhale, straighten legs and arms. Exhale, take the bend. And inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze those elbows in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Keep the 2 straight legs. Lift up and extend back. Squeeze the inner thighs together so the hips stay in alignment. Back to center, bend the knee, and now you glide out. So it's very strong back and shoulders here. Try to lift the arms out of your gaze. And then the hands come down. Step your left foot back to plank and pause. The heels are going left this time. And the right arm getting lighter overhead. Hips press up, right arm reaches. Now drop the left knee down so you can float that right leg. And as you sweep the right leg across, the hand comes down. Walk the hands up to your hips and then set the alignment. So you've got your right foot in line with your left knee and try to soften that right hip down. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, drop the right hand inside the leg. Keep reaching up, inhale, and dive right on your exhale. Again, right hip likes to tuck under and back, so keep pressing it forward. So this could be thought of as a grounded triangle pose or a variation of a kneeling gate pose. Inhale yourself, back up, hands find heart center. Both hips forward, lift out of the ribs, and exhale, take your dive back. Ardha Ustrasana, half camel. And then you come back to center, arms go wide. Now it's left hand off the side of the mat, and the right arm, big reach across. Press the whole right foot down, especially the pinky side. Look to the top of the mat and walk right hand followed by left. Pick up the right foot, drop it at the back of the mat. And now we're lifting left knee into your body, pick it up, and kick it back, 3-legged dog. So again, you might like to hop that right foot forward as well. And then exhale, try to tap left knee towards left elbow. Inhale, 3-legged dog. And exhale over to the right. Let's take one more round. Inhale, kick back. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale, right. Inhale, kick back. And then step forward. We're setting up for another high lunge. Back heel stays lifted, and you inhale the arms up. Let's go right into your warrior 2. So set it up like we did on the first side. Tailbone down, left knee opening instead of collapsing inward. And then reach for the top of the mat, side angle. Left elbow down, right arm across. Option to take a half bind with that right arm, let it sweep around, and try to rest over by that left hip. Keep pressing the shoulder behind you. Unwind yourself up to your warrior 2. Straighten the legs, hands to hips, and we'll take it the other side. So the right toes face back. Bend the knee, find your warrior two. And then lean out, right elbow down, left arm up and over. That right elbow can also help guide the right knee open. And a half bind if you took it, left arm around low back. Inhale, come back up, warrior two. Straighten the leg, hands to hips, and pause with parallel feet. So we'll come into your Prasarita Tanasana. See the arms go wide. Interlace at the low back. Roll the shoulders down, peel your heart up, and then lean out. Find about halfway. Feel the strong back, shoulders are pressing away, and keep all of that if you're able to go deeper in the fold. The knuckles may reach up towards the ceiling or even beyond. Make sure you let the head go so you're looking somewhere between the legs. And then find your halfway point. Bring hands to your hips and come all the way back up. Left toes face forward. Heel toe that back foot in, hands to heart. And just notice how much you're probably facing forward. Turn your torso and your hips to face the side of the mat. Then return the arms wide. Lean out and find your triangle pose this side. So triangle pose, this left hand ideally doesn't have a job at all. It's not holding onto that leg. It's just kind of resting inside, so you're using a lot more of your core. Breath in, takes you up. And a big step, exhale, top of the mat, Namaste. Take a little pedal out and we'll find those standing balances to the other side. Bend the knees. Let's pick up left foot, rested on your thigh. Once you feel that knee drop open and you've got your balance, feel free to drop the hips. As you rise up, we're extending left leg out in front of you and then sweeping it back for your Virabhadrasana C, warrior three. Arms can reach forward or out like airplane wings. And come back to standing. Connect hands and feet and then drop the right toenails behind you. The right hand at your hip keeps that hip pressing forward. Left arm up and back. Lean into it so you can float the leg, super strong hamstring. Then bend the knee. Take inner or outer ankle and then bring the knees to touch. We're lifting up and back. The hips aren't folding here. You're feeling a stretch for that left hip flexor by staying nice and tall. And then pass through center, release your bind, kick forward, and drop down, give a quick little pedal. Let's inhale to sweep up, chair pose. Interlace hands at the low back, but take the opposite thumb on top, so this might be the awkward grip. Remind belly button to draw in, shoulders press down, heart is lifted. This is so good, especially if you have to sit at a desk all day, do a lot of typing. Strengthen the legs a bit more by taking this into a lower chair pose. Look down at the mat, try to float the arms. You can keep these arms as you fold forward. Tuck the chin. Arms can soften all the way down to the mat, and you take your step back plank. Exhale, low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Steady breath. Steady gaze. Walk the hands backwards to the feet. And let's find that malasana. The feet angle wider as you drop your hips. And allow yourself to settle in here. So press the heart a little higher. The shoulder blades back. Knees a little wider. Adding on, left hand down, right hand to thigh as you twist. Going further, half wrap, so that right arm comes around low back. And if you stay here, keep twisting. If going further, left arm in front of that shin, wraps around. You're still trying to sit up really tall and work the twist. Binding is just kind of the cherry on top. If you don't have it, do not worry about it. Unravel yourself to come forward. So for those of you who want to practice an arm balance, this is the perfect position to be in. The hands come out in front of you. The knees are attached somewhere to the arms. Take a lean out as you lift the heels. Then try to come a little more out so you're on the big toes. And then just try lifting one foot up at a time, building that arm strength to come into crane pose. Eventually, both feet would float. So play around for another breath or two as you'd like. And then come back to grounded feet. Lift the hips. Let the feet come parallel. And then lift each foot up, slide the palm underneath. And take a forward fold. So it's pretty rare during the day where you've got your feet stepping on the hands. So this is some really nice energy work. Press the feet down, wiggle the toes against the hand or the wrist. Now let's look down, remove each of your hands, and let's walk out to your high plank pose. Then drop the knees down so that you can come all the way down to your forearms. It's important that the elbows aren't triangling outward. You want them right underneath your shoulders. Then step each foot back, forearm plank, heels to the left, right arm up, and right arm across. Left shoulder so strong, press that arm down. And then return to forearm plank. Lift the hips, walk the feet in. A nice bend at the knees is totally acceptable. Press the belly back towards those thighs. Dolphin. And then drop the knees down. Child's pose. The arms can go back. Option to take this child's pose one step further into your rabbit. So if you have any neck issues, just hang out here. You can do the interlace, but I would not bear any weight on your neck. So if you're with me towards rabbit, interlace the hands at the low back, lift the forehead off of the mat, lift the hips a couple inches so you've come forward a bit, then re-land your forehead and continue rolling all the way to the crown of the head. Last piece, add your bunny ears, reach the arms up. Then carefully roll yourself back down. You can release your arms. Let your chin rock side to side to release the neck. Arms out in front of you. And let's come through to high plank pose. So this is going to be your final vinyasa of class. Set up your high plank. And then exhale, low plank. Upward facing dog. And downward dog. Final down dog. A lot of people like to take final movements. A nice one to try is to bend deeply into one knee and then let that knee sweep across to the opposite side of the mat. And then take it the other way. Couple more breaths. And then let's look forward and come to sit. Let's bring the feet to touch out in front of you for your bound angle pose. So bump the hips as close as you can towards the heels. And hands can tent behind you and you can stay there to prop yourself up. Or you take a hold of the ankles or the soles of the feet. Pull yourself forward to sit tall. And then drop your chin to your chest. Come back to a nice steady breath. Then look forward and lean out. So you've got the same nice long back. We're not rounding to bring your nose closer to the feet. If anything, I want you to think about bringing your nose beyond the top end of your mat. So you're leaning out more than you're leaning down. That's going to build back strength as opposed to possibly overstretching your back. Inhale yourself to come back up. Gather the knees, and we're coming all the way down to your back. Now you'll hug the knees into center. You can rock side to side. Take the hands to the tops of the knees and rotate around one direction to get some massaging into your sacrum. And then take the circles the other way. And then pause. Left foot on the mat, right leg is going to lift up. Basket behind that leg, circle out your ankle. And then press the heel to the ceiling. And you can straighten your left leg all the way down to the mat. Now you can take this into a twist with a straight leg, where the left hand takes the outside of that right leg and just kind of guides it down. And the right arm can open in the opposite direction. Now, if that's not comfortable, you simply bend into the knee. This way sometimes gives more sensation to the outer part of the leg, the IT band. As you come back to center, that right leg lifts into the air again, and the left leg is going to meet it. For a couple moments, let the legs lift up towards the ceiling, letting the blood flow in an opposite direction. Really awesome pose if you're feeling stressed out or a little anxious. Also really awesome to just drain the lymph nodes, fresh blood to the heart. plant your right foot on the mat, hold behind that left leg, and press the heel to the ceiling. Right leg can straighten on the mat. And then taking your twist with either a straight leg off the right, or you can bend the knee. Come back to center, straightening both legs into the air again. Give one last circle of the feet, spread the toes nice and wide. And then hug the knees in, wrap the arms around, one more rock side to side, and let's end with a happy baby. So let the knees bend, the feet face the ceiling. You can again rock side to side. And then let's find your very final pose of class coming into your Shavasana, your resting pose, well deserved. Take up as much space as you can on your mat. The eyes close if that's something you're comfortable with. Enjoy these next few moments. Take a deep breath to come back to the space. Move around in hands and feet. Gentle rock of the head. Stretch the arms back, point the toes forward, big breath in and out. And then curl in, hug the knees into center. And take a soft landing on your right side. Then come up. Find a nice seated position. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I hope you feel stronger and definitely more stretched out after that class. I'll see you next time. Namaste. And if you haven't yet subscribed, the button's just right below there. See you later.